Olga Haygood. I'm the CEO of S44 Energy. We are a software company based out of the United States and Germany, specializing in charge point management system development. So we have a open source OCPP 201 implementation called CitrineOS, and essentially are looking to really make that the future operating system of EV charging through open source. Well, I mean, I think that it's such a complicated question, and it's something that continues to become more complex. However, I think we've seen this in other industries, so I think the charging ecosystem is probably starting to mirror what we saw in telecommunications, where you have a lot of new players coming in the hardware side, you have a few protocols that are determining the future of how it will operate, and then of course you have a ton of software providers that are offering solutions. So I think in the immediate term, at least in the United States where I am based, you have domination by SaaS companies, software as a service companies that are providing services to operate a pretty complex ecosystem of hardware. But with the evolution of the hardware, there becomes a need to come up with solutions that can be more nimble and modified to meet the customer needs and the customer journey. So one example of such a solution is, how do you handle payment, for example? People want to be able to pull out an app, scan it, and keep moving. So I think for us, the protocol is really defining where it's headed, and OCPP 201 is what many of us are basing our solutions on. And I think that what we're finding is that pretty much every industry is getting into the charging space, one way or another, and offering them a universal implementation through open source is a really good move. And we're seeing that on the firmware side with Everest by Pionix, and we're seeing that also on the kind of back-end technology with the product that we have launched, CitrineOS. So I think if you're able to think about it as a constantly evolving, constantly changing ecosystem, then I think we have the potential to reimagine its potential, but it's critical to think about all those components. And in the past, we've had clients who have started with hardware and then tried to retrofit their solution to a software. Now we're seeing that a lot of companies are really thinking about it as a holistic exercise and thinking about how they can plan into the future and accommodate various pieces of that infrastructure with extendable software and modular software solutions. I think it's a similar answer, so it's really the interoperability and also the fact that there's a very diverse market, particularly on the hardware side, that needs to be, for example, there's a lot of money that has gone into infrastructure with the previous protocol, OCPP 1.6. A lot of the chargers, at least in the United States, that are on the market are 1.6. But in order to achieve the customer experience that people have come to expect as they move into EV charging, we have to move them towards the 201 protocol, and that requires investment in that infrastructure. So I think, again, I keep bringing it back to open source. I think the challenge is closed solutions and a lot of the people coming to the table and reinventing the wheel when really we could really build upon something that can extend to the business as a whole. So one of the reasons our company has chosen to focus on open source, back-end software technology is because it can accommodate the existing ecosystem as well as where it's moving as the protocol evolves without having to reinvest all the capital to start from the beginning. So yeah, I think it's really the closed systems that I would say are the biggest challenge, that continue to be the biggest challenge. So we are, I would like to say we are almost like sister companies. So, Pionix has done a great job through Everest, really cornering the firmware space within that ecosystem. And we are their twin on the back-end software. So if you think about a back-end software that essentially manages all the chargers, administers all the charging transactions, enables network operators to know what's happening any minute with their infrastructure, we are handling kind of what's in the cloud, whereas Pionix is focused on really what's happening on the charger itself. Oh, fantastic. I mean, they're incredibly passionate and knowledgeable. I think that they could be doing anything, and they chose to do this because they believe in the cause. So we've had tremendous respect for them, and I think they've done a really great job helping us get the word out about CitrineOS, as well as supporting our entrance into the Linux Foundation Energy. So now it's exciting to say both Everest and CitrineOS are Linux Foundation projects.